Hello, welcome back to Chris's Beer Reviews. How are you? Hope you're doing really well as per usual. I really should come up with a different intro of what I say, really. It's always the same, isn't it? But there you go. But I do always hope you are really well. So there's no beer review in this video as per the thumbnail. This is a completely off-the-cuff video. I'm sitting up here in my beer shed and I haven't even got a beer sitting in front of me. I have just reviewed this AU Cherryade vodka. But I'm sitting in my beer shed and I haven't got beer on the go. And maybe that's kind of the reason for the video, really, is where am I at with beer? Where am I at with beer reviewing? And I've started to fall out of love, is that the right word, with beer? It's not drawing me in like it used to. Certainly on the craft beer scene, to say I rarely buy craft beer now is probably quite true. And I'm just kind of at a point where I'm a bit stuck with the channel, because I enjoy talking to a camera. That I do enjoy. I like sitting here turning the camera on and just kind of disappearing into that little world of being on a camera up in my beer shed just chatting away about a beer, and that I enjoy. It makes me I switch off from the world and just get kind of deeply involved in what I'm doing with the beer, and I forget about everything else that goes on in the world and in the busy lifestyle that I have, and it just gives me a little kind of, it's a little sanctuary, my beer shed. I've said that before. It's like my little sanctuary where I can just escape the world, and I was escaping the world with the beer. I'm not saying that I'm drinking lots. That's not what I'm getting at. I've just got to that point where I'm struggling with the whole beer thing at the moment. I was ill recently, and I didn't drink whilst I was ill, and I did feel better for not drinking, and that kind of got me thinking about my relationship with beer, and thinking, do I drink just for the sake of it? Do I drink because I enjoy it? And I think there was a combination of the both, where sometimes for the hard day at work I'd come home and have a beer, and just to chill out with a beer. And I'm not saying I'd sit here in the evening and smash loads. I wouldn't. Sometimes I'd only have one or two in the evening. But they were kind of becoming a bit habitual. And I was thinking, this is more habit rather than enjoyment of the beer. And there were some beers I was drinking them and probably wasn't even tasting them. It just became a bit of a habit. And when it becomes a bit of a habit, it can then become a bit of a problem. So I kind of looked at that. And then when I was unwell and I wasn't drinking, and I was waking up in the morning feeling a little bit better, even though I wasn't drinking loads, so I wasn't waking up with a hangover, I was just waking up feeling a little bit different. And I definitely went off beer. But I've been going off it for a while. It's really difficult to quantify because, like I say, this is a completely off-the-cuff video. I haven't planned this video. I was just sitting up here and just thought, it just came to me, let's talk about beer. So that's why I keep pausing, because I don't really know where I'm going with it. Certainly on the craft beer scene, I've definitely tailed off on that. I think if you look at some of my recent videos, there's not much in the way of craft beer. And a couple of weeks ago I was in Canterbury. I was in Canterbury for 2 days with the healthcare company that I do some work for, which all came about because of my other channel. So I was away with them for 2 days, doing some stuff with them, some photo shoots, some videos for them, etc. That's all about stoma life with a stoma, and kind of reducing the barriers and stigmas around life with a stoma. So I had a great 2 days there. It was fantastic. But right next to the hotel we were staying at was a craft beer shop. So I had to go in there. Of course I had to go in there. And I bought some German beers, which I love German beers. And I bought some craft beers, and I thought, yeah, I'll review these, and I'll review one in my hotel room. And straight after Canterbury I was going down to Cheddar to go on holiday and meet Rachel down there, and we were going to have a holiday in Cheddar, which we did, and I was going to review them while I was away, and I never did. I did drink them, but I didn't review them. I was having a good time. I was away with just Rachel, there was no kids involved, and there was just, for me, I just didn't want to review them I just wasn't in that mood. I was on holiday, I was having a good time. So I didn't review them, I just drank them, and in the end I was thinking, I'm kind of glad I didn't review them. They weren't particularly outstanding beers, to be quite honest. They were pleasant. And I just thought, have I got to that point where I've had enough of craft beer? Now, I'm not knocking the craft beer industry. It employs a lot of people. Some of my friends work in that industry, and I wouldn't want them to lose their jobs. But I've just kind of hit that point where I was looking at the price tags of the ones that I did buy in that craft beer shop, and I was thinking, these are all £5 plus cans of beer. This is outrageous. It's beer. I appreciate with smaller breweries, their costs may be higher, and they're making beers very, very well. You know, they're not just mass produced nonsense like some of the lagers we get in the UK. But I've just found I'm just a bit bored of beer, and I'm moving away from craft beer. I still drink German beer. I still really enjoy German beer. You know, staples in my fridge are probably going to be Warsteiner, available in the supermarket, German. And then we've got Czech beers like Pilsner Urquell and Budvar are generally always in my fridge. I generally have always got a keg of beer in the PD, which is generally, saying generally a lot, which is normally Lowenbrau or Spartan, whichever way you want to pronounce it, and Belgian beers. In the moment, I've got a keg of Triple Carmelet in the PD, which is 8%, so that's going to last me a long time because you don't want to be sessioning that. So I'm not buying craft beers either, and I'm not buying, you know, these big fruity beers that you can get on the PD. I'm kind of sticking to the more kind of traditional German and Belgian type beers. And again, it's the same in the supermarket. I can walk in a supermarket now and just walk straight past the craft beer stuff. I just ignore it. Sometimes I'll have a little glance at it and just think, yeah, none of that's for me anymore. I'm done with that. So what do I review on the channel is a question to you. What do I review? Because do I go back to traditional ales? Now, when I was in Cheddar, I accidentally came across Cheddar Ales, small brewery, Cheddar Ales, all their beers in bottles. They had a lovely, lovely tap room where you could obviously buy it on the tap, and their beers were outstanding. They were absolutely outstanding beers. Every single beer, I think I had 4 different types of beer from them, and they were all outstanding beers. Now, would you class Cheddar Ales as a craft brewery? I'm not entirely sure, but they're all traditional type ales. They had a bit of a West Coast style. Their lager was fantastic. It was absolutely beautiful on tap, their lager. One of the best lagers I've tasted. So are they craft? Well, they're not beers that are just full of all massive, you know, fruity flavoured hops with citrus and mango and passion fruit. They were none of that. They were just quality beers. But they're the types of beers that I do like, that I'm kind of back into. It is that style of beer, traditional type of beers. They had a bitter that was like an ESB bitter. That was absolutely fantastic. But I can guarantee it wouldn't get many reviews on here, which is a shame, because Cheddar Ales, you know, they need some recognition. Their beers are absolutely top drawer, way better than all the craft beers that are just full of adjuncts and full of all this fruitiness that I'm just kind of done with. I still enjoy, you know, a pale ale around about 4.5% ABV from some craft breweries. I do still enjoy those, but I don't go looking for them. You know, if they're there and I see them, I'll pick one up and I'll enjoy it. But I'm just kind of back in that kind of drinking lagers, German beers or Belgian beers, because German and Belgian beers are just generally the best in the world. However, Cheddar Ales beers were outstanding. So that's the type of brewery I might start looking at again, are those types of breweries that are just producing just real good quality traditional type beers. And there's lots of those in the supermarkets, aren't there, as well, you know, traditional style ales, although some of them are quite big breweries. So I may go down that route of looking at the more kind of traditional beers that are in supermarkets. But in terms of beer itself, I've definitely kind of fallen out of love with it, if that's the right word. I'm not excited by it anymore. I can take it or leave it, you know, whereas there was a point where I was coming home most evenings and having a beer, but I can replace that with sparkling water. People think I'm a bit weird for liking sparkling water, but I love sparkling water. And I found myself coming in from work and having a bottle of sparkling water, and it seems to do the same job. I think I just need some form of liquid when I get in from work, and it doesn't have to be beer. So, which is, I think, is a good thing. I think it's absolutely a good thing for in terms of health. You know, I'm 49 next week. We're not getting any younger. We do need to look after ourselves a bit more. So I'm not saying I'm going on a big health kick and I'm going to go and start jogging and running and weightlifting and dieting and all that type of business. No, but there are other ways of looking after yourself as well. So I don't know if there's even a meaning to this video. Like I say, I enjoy sitting in front of a camera. Do I do other types? Do I branch out and do other things rather than just beer reviews or beverages reviews. I do quite enjoy sharing with you some of the barbecue stuff I do. I've done a few videos on that now. I may do a few more of those because I love cooking. I love cooking on the grill, barbecue, whatever way you want to call it, and I make everything myself. I don't go and buy a rack of ribs that's already covered in barbecue sauce and chuck that on the barbecue. I make everything myself. The rubs I make myself. I can make sauces as well. I can make those, but I generally do buy sauces, and then I marinate the meat, the ribs in sauce as it's cooking, and I thoroughly enjoy that. It can be a from start to finish type video rather than just reviewing generic food that you can buy in supermarkets, which a lot of channels do, and that's fine. I'm not knocking them. I'm not knocking anybody that reviews ready meals, pot noodles, you name it. I've got no issues with people that do that, none whatsoever. So please don't think I'm having a dig at the people that do that. I'm not. And they get a lot of views, so it clearly works. So if you're a reviewer of people that review ready meals and that type of thing, happy days, you carry on. It's not a criticism, it's just not what I want to do. But they do get a lot of views, so people are clearly interested in that type of thing. But I like cooking from scratch. There's a lot of these people that do review those products, they also enjoy cooking from scratch, but they're the types of videos that they would share. But like I say, it's not a criticism of them before people start shouting at me or whatever, you know what I mean. We can get drama on YouTube sometimes. That's not what it's about. It's not about creating drama. If it works for you, crack on. I applaud you for it. But for me, should I do more foodie reviews where I make food? Should I do camping stuff? I've got a camper van, some of you may know that. Should I do videos about some of the camping trips we've been on? Recently at the site I was on in Somerset with a camper van, beautiful site. I was tempted to do a video of that and then I didn't. And I had an opportunity to do that because I was there on my own for a day before Rachel came down. But I didn't. But I could review stuff that's all camping related and cooking related, products around that. That would probably make me quite happy because it's something that I enjoy, and camping videos generally do well anyway. But it's not always about the views. So what are your thoughts? Where do you think Chris's beer reviews should go? I do still enjoy reviewing beer, but in terms of craft beer, I'm not going to spend the money on it anymore. I might go to tap rooms and review some beers whilst in a tap room, but the likelihood of me spending £5 a can on craft beers is done. I think I'm pretty much done with that. So there you go. I don't want this video to go on and on and on and on and on with no real purpose. Like I say, this was a completely off the cuff video. Didn't plan on doing this. I was just sat up in here thinking about beer and I thought, let's just share my thoughts with all you guys and see what you think. So yeah, there you go. That's where I'm at. Where do you think Chris's Beer Reviews channel should go? Do I carry on just sticking to beer reviews? Do I do a bit of diversifying but still mainly review beer? Or any other type of alcoholic drink, just because it's called Chris's Beer Reviews, it does say in my bio that I review other things. So what do you think? Let me know what you think. There you go. I didn't want this video to go over 15 minutes. Don't know if you can hear that light aircraft going over the top, but it is great because just down the road there's a gliding club, literally barely half a mile down the road, and where I am, you see the light aircraft towing the gliders up before they release them, so we get loads of them. We sometimes get the odd stunt glider as well doing loop-the-loops, which is quite impressive. So if you could hear it, I don't know if you can hear it, but that's just gone over because all my doors are wide open because it's a beautiful evening. Anyway, I am now just rambling on. Let me know what you think and I will see you all very soon. Take care. Turn off.